Alright boys, welcome back to another video. Knicks Daily here. We're going to be reacting to the big win last night over the Magic. Surprising game considering they came in with a #1 ranked defense and we dropped 121. We would have scored way more, but we sat the starters in the fourth, or the majority of them at least. But I got a special guest, my girlfriend here, watching her first Knicks game of the season. What'd you think of how we performed?
I thought we did really good. I liked how our offense was really good, and I liked how we were getting the threes in. Um, I know that Orlando's defense was supposed to be good, but in this game, the Knicks were way better. So
Yeah, of course, guys. We got one of the top offenses in the league. Our defense has struggled, but in this one, we put it both together. Honestly, the only guy who gave us an issue was Franz Wagner, if I'm being honest. The Knicks, they just came out with a sense of urgency. They dropped 36 in the first. That 15 in the fourth, I mean, it didn't really matter just because we already clinched the #1 seed. We're actually going to be taking on the third seeded Hawks, which is next week. Yeah, it's gonna be Wednesday at MSG. So if we win that, then we go to Vegas and we'll take on the winner of the Bucks and the Magic. We've already beaten the Magic. The Bucks is gonna be tough. They're red hot. But yeah, I appreciate you for giving your thoughts. I think everyone feels the same that's watching. Our offense has not been the issue. We've been dominant offensively, which is kind of crazy considering Bridges in the starting lineup. Cat, we had to change up some things, but they've just been locked in. And Mikal Bridges, he's clearly back. When we saw that 31-point game he had, now he drops 19 on 8 of 13 shooting. He played well defensively. At least he tried defensively because there's been some lackadaisical efforts this year. 5 assists, 2 steals. OG, he had struggled the past 3 games. He had 18 points, 7 of 10 shooting, 4 of 7 from 3, shooting with confidence. The last game, his shot was just off from the start, but in this one, you could tell he was ready to go. Cat, another amazing game, can't stress enough. 23 points, 15 rebounds. I was actually on Twitter like 10 minutes ago and I saw this tweet that went viral. It got like 3 million views, and it was the New York Knicks trade for Karl Anthony Towns, and it was that gif of LeBron where he's like, oh, and I mean, I think the NBA is definitely terrified of this Cat Brunson duo. Brunson had a quiet 21 points. You look at his turnovers, he'd have 3, but Brunson's top 5 in assist to turnover ratio, so he's not turning the ball over. Shout out to Josh Hart as well for another triple double. I don't know if this was his 8th or 6th. I think it was his 8th triple double as a Knick. 11 points, 10 assists, 13 rebounds, 3 steals. Hart is playing like an all-star right now. He's not going to get the votes just because his points are so low, and normally guys under about 19, 18 hardly ever make it. But just what he's brought to the Knicks, we gave up a first-round pick in Cam Reddish, and that first-round pick ended up becoming a decent role player at best. So, I mean, one of the biggest fleeces, honestly, not only in Knicks history, but in NBA history. Because Hart, he's already a fan favorite for the Knicks. I mean, I bet you there's a lot of listeners right now over on Knicks Daily that would say Hart's their favorite player. Brunson's going to get the most. Cats, I'm sure, has some. But Josh Hart, to me, I mean, he just represents what it's like to be a Knick. And you can tell that he wants to go out there. And even though he said he wants that 500K for a watch, I mean, he definitely deep down wants to get it for his teammates. Man, he's a team first guy. And he shot the ball well, too. I mean, from 3-point line, he's about league average. But, I mean, guys, he's right up there in terms of the league leaders in field goal percentage. I mean, he's shooting over 72% on 2. So Hart was amazing in this one. The Knicks also have been lights out from the free throw line, 20 of 20. The Knicks record's 26 in a row. So they kind of came close to it. I mean, if that's 20 points right there, a difference. I mean, so that's the game essentially right there. So good job by the Knicks being efficient. 42.9% from 3, 50.6% from the field. The bench has been an issue this season. We're without Mitch, we're without Precious, so we expected that. But Miles McBride and, of course, Cameron Payne have stepped up. Payne gave us 7 points in 19 minutes. McBride gave us 18 in 26 minutes, a 5 of 7 from 3. I mean, Deuce he's shooting the ball just as well, if not better, than he was last season. And then we did get to see some Sims, who's been playing well this season. He was not good in this one, if I'm being honest with you. The bench just was terrible in this. Kolek missed a couple of threes. Porty came in, gave up an and 1, 3 minutes, and was a -6. So the bench, that's going to be the thing for the Knicks, is just getting healthier, because we know our starting lineup can compete with any starting lineup, but the guys coming off the bench, they don't have to ball out, but they just have to not lose that time of possession or differential. That's going to be the thing. But 121 points. Basically, all of those came in the first 3 quarters. I mean, we couldn't miss. I mean, Bridges hit a buzzer beater at the end of the second quarter. And the Knicks, they moved the ball. They played with the energy that we've been winning for all season. And you look at the past couple of games, we're starting to find some consistency. So we beat Charlotte barely. And then the Pelicans game, we blew them out. Now we beat the Magic. Our schedule is as soft as it gets, too. We've got Charlotte, Detroit, Toronto. Atlanta's good in the tournament. They haven't been that great this season. What's their record? They're 11-11, so they're neutral, I guess. And then we've got Minnesota, who struggle with Pelicans again. So the Knicks have some opportunities here to get back up in the standings. Ideally speaking, we would not want to play Boston until the conference final. So the Cavs are the 1 seed. I do think the Celtics ultimately get the 1 seed. So if we can just get up to the 2 seed, we'll be good because, I mean, someone has to beat Boston eventually, but that's going to be our biggest problem because the Cavs, they did beat us earlier in the season. We had a double-digit lead late in that, and that was just, the Knicks were a much different team. They didn't have any chemistry. The Magic, they get Bencaro back, they're going to be tough, especially defensively, but I don't think that would be the biggest issue for the Knicks. Just the Celtics is the one team because they have a big that can shoot, they can switch everything, and they won the championship last year, so they have that experience advantage on the Knicks, who only got to the second round. So that's going to be the thing, is just winning these games, winning the ones you're supposed to. Even though the Magic have a better record, there was no reason for us to have lost at home against them, especially because they're without their best player. I mean, Wagner's been great, but he's not Bencaro. He's the franchise guy without question for them. And in terms of the West, well, the Thunder play the Mavericks, the Rockets play the Warriors. We have played the Rockets this year. The Rockets actually are a tough matchup because they switch everything. Well, Dallas beat us too, so two teams, and even the Thunder, they can switch everything. So, and the Warriors are kind of an interesting team too. The West is going to be tough. If the Knicks get to the finals, would be great. We're going to be in for a tough one, but just knowing that, hey, look, we've got a chance to go to Vegas is great because the Knicks lost in the quarterfinals against the Bucks last season, so we didn't get that opportunity. But in this one, I like our odds. The Hawks did beat us earlier in the year, but again, we're just a much different team. I mean, that was back in November 6th, which was almost a month ago to this point. And then we would take on the winner of the Bucks Magic. The Bucks we beat, the Magic we beat. So I think we'll be pretty good. And of course, every player, and I don't know if it's the coaching staff. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but every player gets $500,000 if they win the tournament. So that's a lot of money. So that's why the Knicks have come out here and they're 4-0. And hopefully we can continue it. But this was just one of those games where we got up to an early lead defensively, got up to a little bit of a sloppy start, but then we started to lock in, knock down some shots. And this is when the Knicks are at their best, when they're hitting their shots, they're defending, they're getting points off of transition, they're efficient, and they're just moving the ball around because, of course, the ball moves faster than your man. So if you're moving it around, they're not going to be able to catch up to that. And we just beat them with our speed. And yeah, it was a big time win, especially picking it up on my birthday. Because I think last season, I don't remember last season, we played the Magic on my birthday. I honestly don't even remember if we won. I think we did. But yeah, in the in-season tournament, this was as big as it gets just because it would be nice. I mean, of course, it's not the NBA championship, but it's still something to compete for. It's still an opportunity for the Knicks, and they got it done. And I'm pretty pleased overall with it. And I can't wait for next Wednesday when we have the next round, which is going to be Atlanta, especially because Trae Young is just so annoying. He was taunting us and telling Knicks fans to go home. So this is going to be definitely personal for the Knicks and chance to beat them too. Whenever we can beat Trae Young, it's going to be a good day. So I expect us to win that pretty convincingly. It is going to be at home. The bench has to get cleaned up though. I think that's our biggest weakness right now is we just don't have much off the bench. We've got Porty. Sims has played well overall. You know, Matt Ryan is a liability defensively. Like Landry Shamit's going to give us the same shooting, but maybe a little less shooting, but he's going to give us more defense and just better play. Kolek, thought Dottie actually played well defensively. He did a good job. Also had that nice assist for the dunk to Sims. So I'd love to see more Dottie. McBride, Payne are all good. I mean, Sims has played so well, you got to put him over Huck Porty. But once we get Mitchell Robinson and Precious Achiuwa back, we're going to have a deadly bench of them two. Like I said, McBride, Payne, and if we keep Dottie, he was actually sent to Westchester in the G League. But if he remains in our rotation, then I think that would be the best. Defense, we just need defense off the bench. It doesn't matter if we score, but we just need to get stops. And also, you have the ability to put Precious into the starting lineup and Mitch, depending on the matchup. So it's just going to be big. We should get Achiuwa back within the next couple of games, and we'll get Mitch back in about a month. So, but yeah, guys, Knicks Daily, I'm out. Later.